There's Bird. Bird, 14 seconds, he got fouled. He hit the shot. Larry Bird. He's unconscious.
The pick and roll, I got Kevin and Danny. Danny's defensive man, Kevin's offensive man. I got so many options off the pick and roll if it's ran right. I got Kevin coming over, setting a good hard pick on Danny. I'm going to fake baseline, take a couple dribbles. If Robert follows me out so I don't shoot the jump shot, I got Kevin with Danny on his back, and all I have to do is lead him to the basket with the ball.
Did you guard Bird?
Yeah.
Okay.
Successfully? No. Did I guard him? Yes, but no. This is.
But if he liked you, he probably didn't talk trash to you.
Oh, he talked it all the time. He was constantly.
I don't know. I don't know if Bird had played well or if he was frustrated. Anytime he came back to Indiana, you sensed he was a little more focused. But anyway, we had played him well the night before, the game before, and then like within a few days we had to go to the Garden, and he proceeded to drop 53 on me and whoever else was guarding.
So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird.
Exactly.
Larry Bird, legit 6'10".
Real talk. When I first stood up against him when he was coaching the pace, I was like, damn.
So he walked by us and he says, "Y'all those college guys?" And we was like, yeah, we the college guys. And he looked at us and he said, "Get some it's gonna be a long week," and walked off. And we was like, what the hell?
Hey, basketball fans. Imagine stepping onto the court talking trash to the greatest shooter alive, only to get completely humiliated in front of 20,000 roaring fans. Larry Bird didn't just beat opponents, he dismantled them mentally, broke their confidence, and left them questioning every decision that led them to that moment. From legendary trash talk to icy cold highlights that sent chills through the arena, these top 10 destructions are pure entertainment gold.
The league at that time, do you have a feel for who players felt was the better player between those two?
To be honest with you, the black players gravitated to Magic and the white players gravitated to Bird.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And the people with sense could see the difference. You know, and it wasn't about color or anything else. It was, hey, this guy can ball.
Yeah.
And that's why we used to always look at Bird like, maybe he's not.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, "Hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since '84. Magic heard that shit. And we ain't think nothing of it. The next day we came in, and I never seen this. And this one I was like, this is a different breed. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court. Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass.
Front office. Crazy Larry's story. It was after practice, right? And we were shooting around and he's walking out. To this point, I've never seen him play. Like, I've never seen him shoot. I always had this vision of him from, you know, YouTube videos and old clips like that. We're shooting and he's like walking out of the gym about to leave, but the ball rolls over to him. So he picks the ball up, bro, shoots that motherfucker cash from 3, and he's in slacks, button down. Right. He got his loafers on. He could have f***ed that up and airballed, and then I would have just had this whole different like mindset about who he was. Right. Like, this was not like.
Before the eras of LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, and other NBA legends, there was a force so dominant he was known as the Destroyer of Destroyers. This is a brief look at the players who came close to being overwhelmed by the greatness of Larry Bird.
Temps mort demanat per l'equip d'Angola.
give me your all-time starting five.
Oh, of all time?
All time.
Magic at the point. MJ at the two. Larry Bird at the
We was like, the guys in front of us wasn't better than us, but Kentucky head coach was coaching the team, so he started 3 guys from Kentucky. So we said, okay. But when we got in the game, we turned it out. But I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yes, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh, I called home. I said, it's true about this boy. I was calling everybody, this dude can play.
Craig Hodges walked into the three-point contest riding high, fresh off a win and carrying the quiet confidence of someone who felt he had already figured the game out. Larry Bird, meanwhile, had a reputation built on dominating that same stage. But that year, he wasn't even in the lineup, until a comment from the media suggested Hodges' win might carry less weight without the legend present. Bird didn't respond with words. He responded by showing up the next time, taking one look around and turning the contest into something closer to a personal exhibition. Shot after shot dropped as if the rim had agreed to cooperate in advance, while the rest of the field slowly realized they were competing more with history than with each other. By the end, Hodges didn't just lose a title. He lost the comfort of thinking the story was already written, because Bird had a habit of rewriting it on the spot.
So everybody waiting on Larry to come in. Boom! Bust the door open. Walk around. You might do a little something. Nah, you ain't got nah. You shot yourself out in warm-up. Talking about Leon Wood. Might have yeah. Who coming in second? Let's take the picture. And then take off his sweat jacket. And Birdie got me.
So tell us about what All-Star Weekend means to you and how tough it was, and who are some of the guys you competed against in those three-point contests that you won?
Well, for me, you know, when we look, like he was talking about Larry Bird, Larry was able to shoot the ball from a set shot. And for me, it was one of those things. After he beat me the first couple times, it was, you know, a jump shooter would never win a three-point contest. But I knew at the time it wasn't a matter of me not winning, it was just a matter of my approach towards it, you know. And when I finally approached it towards looking at it as a game situation, but I didn't have to play any defense.
The list keeps going because Bird never chose his students carefully when it came to delivering lessons. A young Dennis Rodman, long-limbed, energetic, and already full of attitude, was one of the early recipients. Bird would receive the ball, glance at him, and openly describe what he was about to do next, almost like a performer narrating his own magic trick before flawlessly executing it. Rodman tried to respond with physicality, tried to bother him with that relentless wingspan and hustle, but Bird just kept talking, kept shooting, and kept scoring anyway. By the end of those matchups, the future rebounding legend looked less like a rising star and more like someone who had just learned that the boogeyman was real, lived in Indiana, and happened to drain jump shots for fun. It was the kind of display that turned confidence into quiet in no time.
I'm really getting into my swing, and I'm really like becoming a force in the NBA.
Oh no, I was still green, man. I was still green. I was just still following people's levels, man, and trying to figure out what is my position in this game. Stuff like that. I'm using scoring in college, rebounding, And then, you know, Isaiah pretty much like my mentor, pretty much, and Chuck Day is like my father, and I love him. Yeah, I was just playing the game just because I love playing the game. I didn't know.
On Rodman's statement.
I'm glad you're starting
I
over there.
mean, Dennis Rodman is a wild dude, to say the least. Like, Dennis Rodman said some wild things. This is absolutely absurd. The idea that he played in Europe, I don't even think we need to talk about that. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, he said he would be in Europe, so maybe he meant he would go on vacation. Larry Bird doesn't strike me as someone who takes a lot of European vacations either. So I don't know if Larry Bird has ever been to Europe outside of playing international games for the USA. Other than that, I don't know what Dennis Rodman is.
Climbing higher in the countdown, there were nights when Bird didn't just beat teams, he dismantled entire franchises with attitude. The Atlanta Hawks, led by Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel, were built on explosive athleticism and rim-rocking finishes that routinely lit up highlight reels. But on one unforgettable night, Bird caught fire so intensely it felt like the arena itself couldn't keep up. Wilkins tried to keep pace bucket for bucket, but Bird treated the game like it was a live masterclass. He hit deep threes from impossible spots, toyed with defenders, and turned Atlanta's defense into a teaching example rather than a challenge. At one point, when he casually predicted a ridiculous long-range shot, then calmly knocked it down, the crowd erupted in disbelief. By the end, the Hawks weren't just beaten, they were witnesses to something far beyond a normal game, while Bird walked off having turned competition into performance art.
The first play of the game, I'm going, he said, I don't know why they got you guarding me, Holmes. And he shoots a three. And I wasn't mad he made the three. I thought, this some bitch just called me Holmes. Oh, man, I was so mad. So I'm coming down the left side, and I go up in a fast break, and he comes out to me, and I'm pumping it behind my head, and he jumped. I said, I got him. Boom. And he's sitting down on the ground. I'm pointing like this. He said, hey, Rook. I'm like, what? He said, I like you. You got balls. But I'm still getting Again, never talked. And until we retired. And he had an interview and they was talking about trash talking. And he said, I never said things to offend anybody. He said, you take Dominique. And he said, I said some things to Nick and he would just smile at me. But he understood what that smile was about.
Yeah.
He said he just came to play. He said, I have more respect for him than any player I ever played against. I never knew he felt.
You can't talk about Bird dominating opponents without mentioning the rivalry that defined an era of basketball. Magic Johnson entered the league with flair, no-look passes, and a charisma that lit up every arena he stepped into. Larry Bird answered with a cold stare, quiet confidence, and a game built to disrupt everything Magic loved doing. By the final buzzer, it often felt less like a regular season game and more like a psychological chess match. Magic brought the spectacle, but Bird made sure the balance tilted toward Boston when it mattered most, leaving a rivalry remembered as much for mind games as for basketball brilliance.
What did you once say about him? He's the one basketball player you knew who was white that you could take to the neighborhood.
That's right.
And they would accept him immediately.
No question about it, because Larry Bird can really, really play basketball, and he can play with any group of people. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, whatever, because he's so smart at the game. Larry Bird was the smartest player I played against.
Wow.
Your rival can make you better.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you think? Your rival
All
can
the
make
time.
you better.
Larry the better player.
I've always said that Larry was the better player.
Really?
Because he could do more, shoot from the outside, all those type of things. You know, to us, really, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what matters to me is that I played against the best. I got to know the man, Larry Bird, and that we got this friendship right.
It's respect. This ain't nothing bad. So I said, let me see what he can do.
But Larry's had something that most white boys don't have. Just say that. Just keep it real.
Man,
Larry was different now. Larry was different now.
He had a little bit of nigger.
Yeah, he was different now. He was different now. Larry was different now.
That boy, he can play, man. He turned it out. We played on a team in college in a tournament.
The dominance kept coming against players who believed size and strength alone would be enough to stop him. Even teammates like Kevin McHale weren't spared when Bird decided to turn up the pressure through his sharp, selective trash talk, often speaking just enough to get under an opponent's skin. Against bigger defenders trying to post him up or push him off his spots, Larry would simply flash that quiet, country boy smile and then proceed to dismantle them with ease and precision. A quick fake one way, a sudden spin the other, and he would leave defenders reaching at empty space while the ball dropped cleanly through the net. Night after night, centers and power forwards walked off the floor trying to process how a player who didn't fit the traditional image of a superstar big man had just made them look slow, stiff, and completely out of position. Bird never needed to shout or overreact. A few perfectly timed words combined with ruthless execution were more than enough to do the damage.
I was laughing because I was in the All-Star game with you when you walked in and asked who was going to get second place in the three-point contest. When you walked up, when you walked in there, what were you thinking when you made that announcement to the room? Just messing with all those guys like you always did with everybody?
I didn't. I had no clue. I never really practiced. Me and Danny used to shoot some before we went out there, but everybody's sitting there. Everybody's real quiet. You really didn't. You knew the guys, but you never were around them. And nobody's really saying anything. So I walk in and look around, and
let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says a couple other few choice words, and he says, "I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends." So I was like, "Oh, all right, so let's go." So we go on the floor. Elbert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Elbert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized them. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his...
Larry, is Kevin McHale on the list? And what's your relationship with him?
I would not do that to Kevin. Have him to work for me. That's just not fair. I respect the man too much, and we've been through too many battles together to bring him in here and be my coach. I would love for him to be my coach, but it ain't going to happen because our relationship.
Halfway through this list of legendary takedowns, the stories only keep getting richer. Michael Jordan was still building his legacy when he went head-to-head with a seasoned Larry Bird, a veteran who had already mastered every angle of the game. Bird didn't treat the young star any differently than anyone else. He spoke with calm confidence about what he intended to do, then went out and executed it just as he said he would. Jordan brought explosive athleticism and relentless intensity, but Bird countered with experience, timing, and a cold, surgical precision that could make even the greatest players look ordinary for stretches. Those encounters hinted at a changing era in basketball, yet Bird made sure to leave his mark on it, delivering performances that had the rising Chicago star shaking his head at the relentless Celtics forward who refused to be overshadowed.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. I'll see you. All right, take care. Now you can work on that golf game of yours.
You like Pat Riley? Yeah. Because you've had your confrontations with him.
Oh, I know. I saw him on your show, actually.
You like him?
Yeah.
I mean, was he the kind of guy you'd like to play for?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a whole different way of approaching certain situations, and it isn't that bad. Different.
Thoughts on two contemporaries, Bird?
Larry, I think Larry is the epitome of what I saw myself walking away from the game and getting out of the spotlight. You don't see much of Larry now. I think that's something that he chose.
Back in Indiana and cool at it.
Which isn't bad. I like that. I really admire him for doing that.
In fact, he was your main inspiration. Is that not right?
Yeah, he did. Larry used to be a very talented basketball player. He still is. And whenever I was about his height, he used to wear me out in the backyard. And I guess from that determination just to beat him, I guess that made me work hard. Mm-hmm. And, he's just an outstanding basketball player at his height.
Some of the most memorable moments came when players genuinely believed they could shut him down. Reggie Miller entered the league with his confident perimeter shooting and quickly ran straight into the reality of Larry Bird. In one early matchup, Bird made it clear, without hesitation, that he saw himself as the greatest shooter on the floor, and then spent the rest of the night backing it up possession after possession right in Miller's face. Reggie answered back the only way he knew how, talking and competing, but Bird kept knocking down shots while adding a layer of psychological pressure that felt heavier than any defensive scheme. By the time the game ended, Miller had taken away a difficult but lasting lesson. Some legends don't just play within the game, they redefine it, bending it to their will while everyone else is left trying to catch up.
Give me Bird's stats at 30,
At
Paulie.
30.
Because that was an MVP season, I think?
Yeah. Wow. 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
Can I answer that question now? Larry Joe.
Yeah. So
Larry
if he
Joe.
averaged 30 back then, you take Larry Joe.
Larry Joe for the win. Larry Joe for the win.
People talk about what was harder, playing against him or being under him as the coach. No question being underneath him. There was so much pressure on us, not only to win every game that we had going back to Boston, which I think we were 9-1 in those 3 years, but every game was it had to be like a game 7. That was his mentality. But man, practices were intense. He didn't talk a lot, but it was, and we wanted to win that Lakers championship in 2000 for him too.
The beatings didn't stop for guards who believed speed alone would be enough. Even Gary Payton, the glove, famous for his elite perimeter defense, ran into a version of Bird that flipped defense into offense and offense into something almost theatrical. Bird would call out plays in advance, predict his own shots, and still execute them with such ease that Peyton eventually reached a point of pure frustration and disbelief rather than resistance. One story suggests Bird got so deep inside his head that the future Defensive Player of the Year essentially conceded defeat during the game, realizing that no level of physical defense, trash talk, or pressure could disrupt a player operating on pure basketball intelligence mixed with relentless confidence. By the end of those matchups, Peyton often left not just beaten on the scoreboard, but also humbled by the experience.
See, they were coming up. See, he didn't even really get a chance to see Akeem Olajuwon, Dominique Wilkins, and everybody keep talking about that motherfucker Larry Bird. That motherfucker was cold. He was a cold. Now, he was the first motherfucker legit. Get out. You feel what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He can play with anybody in the NBA. I don't care what nobody say today. He will give them buckets.
No list of Larry's so-called victims would be complete without Julius Erving, Dr. J himself. Erving glided through games as if gravity barely applied to him, a walking highlight reel that seemed untouchable at times. Yet Bird never treated reputation as something to bow to. He respected the brilliance, but still made Erving's nights feel like a series of small, relentless problems that never quite stopped. Bird would check him closely enough to disrupt rhythm, then punish any hesitation with step-back jumpers or sharp, precise passes that pulled the Sixers out of shape. In those matchups, the smooth, airborne artistry of Erving often looked suddenly human, forced to adjust, react, and grind against a player who seemed almost irritatingly efficient in response. Over time, Erving's respect wasn't given freely. It was earned through repetition, through night after night of seeing Bird dismantle what most teams considered unstoppable.
You and Bird not get along. The irony is we did get along. It's just that when somebody plays for Boston and somebody else plays for Philly, if you have to get on the court and play with one another, you're not supposed
Philly
to.
versus Boston.
The history, yeah.
And Boston, Philly, the rivalry. We didn't like them. The year they won the championship, we knocked them out in the first round. And there was just a rivalry, man. There was a love-hate rivalry with Boston and Philadelphia. And the irony of that is, Larry and I did stuff together. Me, him, and Magic. All the three of us, we were the first three Converse guys. Well, I was there first and then we signed them.
Rounding out the top moments brings us to one of the most dominant performances in NBA history. Bird erupted for 60 points against the Hawks in a display of pure mastery that still circulates in highlight reels decades later. Looking back at these 10 moments, it becomes clear why Larry Bird is regarded as such a unique legend. He didn't just defeat opponents on the scoreboard, he got inside their mindset, exposed their doubts, and left behind a lasting sense of frustration that lingered long after the final buzzer. From confident rookies to seasoned superstars, no one was truly safe once Bird took over a game. He played with the calm of a casual gym run, then unleashed elite skill, near psychic basketball IQ, and a competitive edge that cut deeper than any move on the court.
Points by a Celtic in one game, and McHale didn't set it more than a week ago. Rivers fouls record with 56. Amazing. He does. It's on the baseline coming out right. There's Bird. Bird, 14 seconds, he got fouled. He hit the shot. They're not going to count it. And Bird falls into Joe O'Toole. They're not going to count it. I think it's the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen.
Number one team is reunited, and Dennis Johnson misses a shot, rebound Bird. Bird on the baseline, great pass. Oh, what a pass. Great Bird to McHale.
He passed that ball from behind Scott Hastings back to McHale for the layup.
That's a nice pass, man. By 1 inch.
Grown men who had made millions on the strength of their toughness would suddenly find themselves speechless on national television, staring up at the rafters and trying to process how things had unraveled so fast. These weren't just ordinary performances that padded a stat sheet. They became lasting memories etched into the minds of everyone who shared the floor with him, whether opponents in rival jerseys or teammates on his own bench. Opponents often left questioning their decisions, their confidence, and sometimes even the path that had brought them to professional basketball in the first place. The player who, by modern standards, might have looked the least imposing, built like an unassuming country kid with a deceptively slow first step, repeatedly revealed himself as one of the most lethal competitors the game has ever seen. While others leaned on athleticism and highlight reel explosiveness, he turned anticipation, precision, and a deep understanding of angles, timing, and psychology into his real weapons.
Brad Daugherty told me this story when he was like second year in the league and they were in the playoffs against the Celtics. Down one, Larry Bird catches the ball in the deep corner and he steps back for a three. And before he takes the three, he's like, oh wow, he's going for the win. He's not going for the tie. And so Brad Daugherty runs out and he head fakes him. And as he head fakes him, now it's 3-2, he hits him on the butt with the ball. And then he shoots it at the buzzer.
Go Jokic versus Larry Bird in their prime.
Yeah, so that would be Larry Bird.
Yeah. Because he's just a more skilled, you think, player on the court, one-on-one?
He was built more of a one. Larry Bird would probably beat LeBron one-on-one.
Really? Larry Bird would beat LeBron James one-on-one. Ooh.
Because one-on-one, it takes away from everything LeBron has, right? His physical strength, his speed, right? And, you know, all that power he has going. Well, in one-on-one, you're talking about 1-2 dribbles. That's not his
corners.
Yeah, that's not it.
Basketball fans still share these stories with a kind of amused reverence, passing them down like folklore because they perfectly capture both the era and the player. A slender forward from French Lick, Indiana, he could talk trash with the ease of a hometown neighbor while simultaneously dismantling opponents' hopes one flawless jump shot at a time. His sarcasm rarely felt openly cruel, yet it carried the sting of something far heavier, soft in delivery, devastating in effect. With a single well-timed remark followed by an impossible shot, he had a way of shaking confidence and rewriting careers in real time. The league has never quite felt the same since he controlled the court, redefining what psychological pressure in basketball could look like. Later generations studied his footage not only to replicate his mechanics, but to understand how dominance could be effortless, even elegant. These moments remain lasting proof that true greatness is a blend of skill and personality, one that can both entertain and intimidate at the same time.
KC is coaching us, Casey Jones, who had coached Boston.
Yeah.
So he catches the ball on the left side. He catches the ball and looks over at our bench and goes, I'm going to take 2 dribbles right, crossover left. So we're all on the bench like, this dude's
And Derek McKee is on him.
And Derek's on him. Don't let him do that to you, D. He takes his 2 dribbles, crossover, pull-up jump shot.
Wow.
And looks over at our bench, and we're all looking at each other like.
So think about who was the best three-point shooter.
I'm gonna go with Larry Bird because I've heard that he's won multiple ones, and that's during his prime.
Yep,
that sounds like a good answer. I'll go with Larry. I'll go with Larry Bird too.
And Maurice,
I'm thinking Larry Bird as well. Let's all agree.
I feel like we all got it wrong. I feel it's like that guy from Seattle. I don't know his name.
Dale Ellis.
Dale Ellis.
Yeah. Was it Dale Ellis or Larry Bird?
No, you guys are all right.
Okay.
It was Larry Bird.
Okay.
Larry Legend Bird didn't just win basketball games. He left a permanent imprint on the league, turning every matchup into a story that would be retold for generations. He embodied basketball at its highest level: elite skill, fearless showmanship, and a mind that treated competition like a psychological chess match. Larry Bird didn't just play in the NBA, he turned it into his personal stage, where every bucket felt like a punchline delivered at the perfect moment. He shattered the idea that an athlete had to look a certain way to dominate, proving instead that timing, intelligence, and confidence could haunt opponents for years. Give him even a fraction of space, and he would punish you immediately, then calmly do it again like it was routine. His trash talk wasn't loud or flashy, it was sharp, effortless, and almost polite, which somehow made it even more devastating than the words themselves.
He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on the he had to lay down because of his back. And said, young fella, look like 84, huh?
Last time he made
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. I said, so that's
all of a sudden we playing and I'm G'ing him up and he slow balled me. That's where I got the slow ball, put your back to your back like this, and his back was bad during this time. So he went right to that corner and I'm up on him, I'm under him, and he said, young fella, what did I tell you I was gonna do? And he turned around, raised up, looked around, it was all draws. And I said, I ain't gonna mess with you no more.
Young players today scroll through those old clips and laugh until they realize those same moves would have absolutely dismantled them in their own era. Bird never played for highlights. He created moments so absurd and precise that even modern highlight reels feel like they're underselling him. Opponents didn't simply lose games to him, they walked away questioning their own instincts in the silence of the locker room mirror. In the end, Larry Legend didn't just dominate the sport. He proved that the deadliest force on a basketball court is a rare mix of genius, fearless competitiveness, and perfectly timed, unbothered confidence. And ever since, the game has been trying to recover, still laughing, still stunned, still a little speechless.